Shall I start, sir?
Yes, please. Let us know when we are live.
We are live, sir.
A very pleasant morning to all of you. My name is Himank Harjai. I'm a chartered accountant and a lecturer at Jindal School of Banking and Finance. First of all, thank you for being with us today. And it is my proud privilege to welcome all of you to the celebrations of this special day, which is very close to my heart, and of course, to all the chartered accountants and aspirants. 1st July has been celebrated as Chartered Accountants Day to commemorate the founding of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, that is ICAI, by the Parliament of India in the year 1949. Today, we are here to honor the contributions made by the ICAI and the numerous chartered accountants in strengthening India's economy, which reminds me of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's golden words that chartered accountants are partners in nation building. I feel privileged to be part of a prestigious institution like Jindal School of Banking and Finance, OP Jindal Global University, which aims to not only provide the best knowledge and learning environment, but also encourages and supports its students to pursue professional qualifications like CA, ACCA, CFA, etc. On this occasion, we have the honor of having with us Mr. Charan Singh Nanda, a distinguished chartered accountant, as our keynote speaker. Mr. Nanda is one of the most dynamic members of Central Council of ICAI, chairman of Internal Audit Standards Board, has been chairman, vice chairman, and member of various committees of ICAI. He has contributed immensely in multiple disciplines, be it accounting, auditing, taxation, finance, and corporate law. Also, we are delighted to have Ms. Komal Jain, who is the All India Rank 1 CA Final November 2020 attempt. A quick announcement before we begin. As this session is being streamed live on YouTube, I would request our participants to type in their questions, and I will ask the same questions from our speakers during our Q&A session. Now, I would like to invite our Dean, Professor Dr. Ashish Bharadwaj, to present his inaugural address and to welcome our guest speakers. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Himank, for that introduction. I welcome everyone one more time to this auspicious day when we are trying to celebrate something really momentous. My name is Ashish Bharadwaj. I'm the Dean of Jindal School of Banking and Finance. And let me once again congratulate everyone on this delightful CA Day, as it's called, under the aegis of ICAI, which is, of course, the third largest professional accounting body in the world in terms of membership after the UK-based ACCA and US-based AICPA. I'm sure all of you know that. I'm extremely happy that Mr. Charan Singh Nanda has joined us today to deliver the distinguished keynote address in this seminar to not just celebrate the work of CAs, but also the contribution of this profession to many walks of our lives. And he'll inform us more about this interesting aspect. Mr. Nanda is, of course, an acclaimed chartered accountant, and Himank, my colleague, has already introduced him. I'm very happy that the talented and dynamic Komal Jain is also here. She's a young chartered accountant, and as Himank said, the holder of the first rank in CA final last year, which is no easy feat in our country. And Komal will tell us more about it in her special address for our youth today. I acknowledge and appreciate the work and efforts of a lot of my colleagues, faculty members of JSBF, particularly Himank, who's a chartered accountant himself, and he's going to be moderating today's proceedings. My other colleagues and professors, Anand Mishra, Monica Gupta, Pulkit, Nilisha, Mrigakshi, Malvika, Ayushi, they're all working really hard to strengthen our finance and accounting society in the university, which is going to inspire many students for many years to come. Well, for full disclosure, I'm not a chartered accountant myself, but I do recognize the immense contribution of this profession and the professionals who are working in this field on a daily basis in bringing about really a range of decisive changes that we have seen in the processes and practices that are followed in each industry in our country. And that is exactly what we are going to be celebrating today in the company of Mr. Nanda, Ms. Komal Jain, and all the viewers who have joined us today on YouTube. Well, let me tell you a little bit about us. As a not-for-profit university, OP Jindal Global University was established in 2009 as a philanthropic initiative by the founding benefactor, Mr. Naveen Jindal, in the memory of his father, and under the vision and leadership of our founding Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajkumar. Since 2009, JGU has established 12 schools, all within social sciences, arts, and humanities. The ninth school of the university, which is our Jindal School of Banking and Finance, is indeed a center for learning, emerging academic work, and practitioner excellence in many areas that we all relate with: finance, financial services, accounting, banking, digital finance, and many different forms of new technology-led commerce that are emerging now. We offer a 3-year BCom honors and a first in India 3-year BA honors in finance and entrepreneurship. We have a very strong focus of our commerce curriculum on the valuable professional certifications, including CA, ACCA, CFA, and others. Now, commerce education and the discipline of commerce and accounting themselves are really not new. I suppose it was ESCP in Paris, which was established as the world's first business school about 200 years ago, to offer a very focused commerce and business education. But that was in France. Here in India, I believe it was Sydenham College in Bombay, which was the first academic institution to offer a government diploma in accountancy, which was the gateway to this profession back then, and it later became the BCom degree program. But this was roughly 100 years ago. Things have drastically changed since then in light of how nations, how our country, how industries have evolved, how finance and accounting practices have transformed themselves, and the impact of several financial crises that have happened repeatedly over the past few decades, and now the ongoing effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. So studying commerce and finance in the right manner in a new age and understanding the nuances of this profession holistically is the need of the hour. With that, let me welcome our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Nanda, once again. He's served in various different capacities in committees formed by the Government of India. His key areas of practice are really diverse, areas that students and professionals really want to excel in, including capital markets, banking, corporate laws, taxation, audit, and even management consulting. I invite Mr. Nanda to deliver his keynote address on the CA Day on a fascinating topic, which is role of chartered accountants in shaping India's technology-led economy. Over to you, Mr. Nanda.
Thank you, Mr. Bhadwaj. It was really a treat listening to you. My salutations to Himank also, who was very consistently involved with me to ensure that this program happened. I also pay my regards to Madam Komal Jain, the rank holder CA who would be here to guide the students. So at the start of my talk, I would like to first of all congratulate all of you on 73rd CA Day. You all are aware that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India was set up an Act of Parliament way back on 1st July 1949. When the most important document to the democracy, the Constitution, was not adopted. All need to know what prompted the Constituent Assembly to set up an Institute of Chartered Accountants of India before promulgating the Constitution. The answer to this is very simple, very forthcoming, very candid. They were looking for a disciplined band of soldiers, you can call them financial soldiers, to steer this country out of confusion and put it to the path of progress. Ladies and gentlemen, we are doing this since the past 73 years. It marks a great involvement into all affairs to ensure that a robust growth is noticed in the industry, handful employment is given to all concerned, and more importantly, reporting and financial reporting is on such patterns that things move in the right stream. All of you are aware that world has become a global village. When you get up in the morning, the Japanese and Asian markets have opened. You can see Nikkei, Hang Seng. By the time you go on to your breakfast table, you find that the Indian markets have opened. By the time you go for your afternoon soup, the European markets and German markets open, CAC, DAX. And by the time you go to your club in the evening, the American markets are open. So the basic concept is that anybody can invest anywhere. I sitting here can invest in Hang Seng. I sitting here can invest in Nikkei. I sitting here can invest in American markets. So how do I gain information? How do I read the financial statements? Is the accounting policy, accounting system same? So that the inference which I draw is on the equitable ground. That is why the International Federation of Accountants came with IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. So sitting here, if you want to invest in Islamabad, or if you want to invest in Frankfurt, or if you want to invest in Washington, the books of account, when you read them, the inference would be same. This is a great contribution on, you can call them homogeneous financial reporting, where whatever accounting treatment has to be given, it is not based on your whims and fancies. It is something that is codified. It is something that is very clearly, abstractly written. You have to work on that. So my topic of today is very interesting. I'll just share my PPT. It's not a PPT. It is basically a very big module of ours, but I'll pick and choose the things which I need to speak on. But before that, to start, I would like to tell you that chartered accountants are people who are vigilant to ensure that the corporate world moves in the right tandem. I'm reminded of a couplet which says, "Zubaan kadwi hi sahi, par saaf rakhta hu. Zubaan kadwi hi sahi, par saaf rakhta hu. Kaun kahan kab badal gaya, sabka hisab rakhta hu." The basic intention is to ensure that you have each and everything which is important. Give me a second. Let me put in my. Can you, Himangi, can you please ask them to make me the host? I have to share my PPT. Till the time I have made the host, I'd like to tell one more important thing. What is the value of technology, particularly in Indian perspective? I told you that the prime body above all accounting bodies who were set up an act of parliament is IFAC, the International Federation of Accountants, which have close to 150 constituent members. And your institute, the Indian Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, was the first to bring out the guidance on remote audit way back on 30th March 2020, when COVID had barely started. When it comes to technology, you have to understand one thing, that Indian chartered accountants are at the forefront. Even internationally, the chartered accountants who are working in technology firms or giving technology services are Indians. I'm reminded of the Silicon Valley revolution which started some 10-12 days back when the .com was there. And at that time also, I want to share a secret with you. An Indian chartered accountant an Indian professional, an Indian IT professional used to get 35% markup compared to a Pakistani or a Palestinian or a Chinese. If you are an Indian, you got 35% more salary because of three reasons. Number one, we understand the things. We are able to put them in the right perspective. Himangi, you asked them to make me the host so that I can share my... Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Ajay. Please
No,
let us know
no
when
issue, you can tell him.
sir is the host. And he can share.
Second important thing, when it comes to meeting deadlines, Indians have this unique character. They may not like deadlines, but when it comes to meeting deadlines, they would work at the highest level. And the third important thing is understanding, researching, and try to do the best. This is the Indians' concept of working. So that is why Silicon Valley always welcomed us. Let me come and share my presentation. I've been made the host.
Sure, sir.
Just
Yes.
a second. Is my PPT visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great. So I'd like to tell you something about the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board. I happen to be the chairman of Intra Standard Board and chairman of Committee on Management Accounting. So like this, we have one board which is called Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, which deals with technology. And more importantly, we have brought out the first forensic standards in this world forensic accounting standards, wherein you can go and do investigations and bring to book people who are culprits of white collar crime. So today I'll speak on emerging technologies. My address would be close to, say, 25 minutes. So I will first tell them what is the objective of today's presentation. Number one, emerging technologies and their evolving landscape is very important for you to understand. Then you have to understand the impact of these technologies on profession. This will be with all facets of technology which I would discuss. The third is the risks in emerging technologies. Technologies bring a lot of facilitation, but along with it, they bring a flood of risks. So those risks have to be taken into account. You need to evaluate the approach of government, governance and control in these technologies. When you speak about GRC, governance, risk and controls. So governance and controls are very important. Risk is also very important. I got a call from a gentleman the other day. He said, Mr. Nanda, I want to start a business which has no risk. I said, great. If you find that, please let me know. I am also searching for the business for past 35 years. And then I told him, my friend, if there is no risk, there is no opportunity. If there is no risk, there is no reward. If there is no risk, there is no remuneration. Again, I'm reminded of a couplet which I would like to share with you. The couplet says, जो खैरात में मिलती कामयाबी तो हर शख्स कामयाब होता. जो खैरात में मिलती कामयाबी तो हर शख्स कामयाब होता. फिर कदर ना होती किसी हुनर की और ना ही कोई शख्स लाजवाब होता. When you know how to use your risk, when you know how to take calculated risk, when you know your risk appetite, because all wealths are built on risk. Therefore, governance and controls in this technology is important. Understanding the interrelationship with the emerging technologies. If you are into artificial intelligence, you need to know how you use it in blockchains. And there you need to know how you use analytics in blockchains. Very, very important. And to understand the role of professionals. What professionals can do in creating structures, in creating strategies for the benefit of the board of directors or the audit committees, as the case may be. The general structure would be the meaning, cases in finance, examples in finance, use cases, impact of audit, risk and challenges. I told you about governance and controls and professional opportunities. Time is very short, so I will rush through the PPT because it's a PPT of 2.5 or 3 hours. First is artificial intelligence. You all know what artificial intelligence is. To give a small example, you see certain videos on your YouTube. If you see Gurbani on YouTube, like in the morning when I get up, I do Gurbani part. And I do it in the afternoon also, I do it in the evening also, and when I rest to bed, I do at that time. The best part is that in the morning when I put on my YouTube, I get the morning part. In the afternoon, I get the afternoon part. In the evening, I do Rehra Sab. I get the Rehra Sab part. In the night when I want to retire, I get Kirtan Sohela. I don't have to tell anything to YouTube. It knows what I want. I know a gentleman who loves snakes. So when you click on his YouTube, you'll find videos of snakes only coming up. So this is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is an advanced computer system that can simulate human capabilities based on predetermined set of rules. The rules have to be very consistently and consciously written so that they are able to pick each and everything which is a part of the assignment that may come in. So some of the activities computers with artificial intelligence are designed for include speech recognition. Very, very important. There are so many mobiles, laptops now who work through speech recognition. Learning, very important. Planning and problem solving. These are the very important facets of artificial learning. Machine learning. What is machine learning? It is the use of computing resources. Yes, who have the ability to learn, acquire, and apply knowledge and skills. These are related to all interaction that may happen. I want to tell you that, for example, I'll give you an income tax example. You are aware that income tax department sends notices under section 148. I'll give you a brief of 148. For example, 6 years from today back, I did a transaction in property, I did a transaction in stock market, a huge transaction, but I didn't inform the department or I didn't pay the taxes. So today, when they look at my history, they can thing is that they have to give a notice within 6 years. So they will very patiently keep on looking at my system. No human person does it. It is automatically done by artificial intelligence. If you call it exception reporting, when we do audit of banks, there are so many crores of transactions. So it is not possible to do ticking of each and every transaction. We request artificial intelligence measures to bring out exception reporting. What is exceptional? Why it was done? Why the normal rules were surpassed? And then we go and look at it. Now, why artificial intelligence is important? Artificial intelligence automates repetitive learning. Repetitive work has to be done. It becomes monotonous. One may want to come out. So how does he work on that? Artificial intelligence ensures that you automate something which is repetitive. Second, it adds intelligence to existing products. You see, the new generation Apple products have Siri. What is it? It is nothing else than adding intelligence to existing products. It adapts through progressive learning algorithms to let the data do the programming. I know you would have seen people trading in the market. I want to buy 20 stocks at one time. I have a target. I want to sell all the stocks at that time only. And if the market unfortunately goes down, I want to have a stop loss of all of them. So there is an algorithm trading. The trading will itself do everything which is desired. For example, I want to buy a share at 400 rupees. The tick is 5 paisa. So the moment I put 400 and the seller is 402, so there's difference of 2 rupees. If I have an algorithm, if you put 400, it will put 400.05. You put 400.010, it will automatically in a fraction of second put 400.015. So you will always remain at the top. This is the algorithm. Artificial intelligence also analyzes more and deeper data. Very, very important. Analysis of data. Because today, the worth and value is data itself. And in this process, it creates incredible accuracy. When something is done on a machine, then you get proper, incredible accuracy. And all artificial intelligence gets the most out of data. The data has so many things. So what you want, or if you give it to artificial intelligence, it can list various areas that may be of interest to you. I know because time is short, so I will like to tell you advantages and disadvantages of what it is. Very, very important. Number one, biggest advantage, error reduction, no error. Difficult exploration, whatever be the exploration, whatever be the analytics, it would do it. Daily application, repetitive applications are taken care of. Digital assistants like Siri, they become a part of the entire system. Repetitive jobs and no breaks, no holidays, no religious functions, no strike, no COVID. Machine will keep on doing the work. What are the disadvantages? The cost is very high. Normal businesses, small and medium businesses, you are aware that 3 days back we had the MSME International Medium and Small Enterprises Day. So you can't afford that high cost. Second, no replicating humans. Nobody can replicate humans. It is therefore it is called artificial intelligence. Whatever you feed in, it will work on that. But human man has immense intelligence. No improvement with experience. A man improves by experience. You learn throughout your life and you learn by experience. But there is no learning by experience. No original creativity. Whatever you have feed, it will work on that. And it will create unemployment because all work shall go to those people who are using artificial intelligence. Some challenges for artificial intelligence. Computing is not that advanced. Yes, What you write, what you give, it will give back that only. So at times when you do not write the right facets, what was the issue with Titanic which sunk? There was some software issue and that could not be taken care of. So when you write 100 facets, if you forget one, it will tend to crash. Second, fewer people support. People support is less in this because there is no immediate action which can be taken. Creating trust. Yes, people don't understand. They don't feel it is trustworthy. One track minds, probability, data privacy and security. Whenever technology comes, the biggest issue is that with one click of button or by simply hacking, the entire data can be taken. This is the biggest loss which internet could have given us. So data security is again issue. So now I'll come on to the second issue, which is blockchain. You understand that I will just give the history of it. In 2008, a paper entitled by Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Bitcoins were started, you are aware that cryptocurrencies, the Reserve Bank of India discouraged it, then it said it has no issue. Internationally, cryptocurrencies are on a huge bull run. So what happened? So in order to create something where work is done and immediate reporting is done, I'll give a small example. I want to adopt a girl child in Jharkhand. Anyone amongst you would like to that 4,000 or 5,000 rupees a month is not an issue. Now my questions to you is, why don't you do that? You don't do that because you feel the money may be misappropriated, not used at the right place. Now if I take a girl called Sharda and give her 10,000 rupees per month, blockchain will ensure that every rupee spent on her, the entire statement shall come to me. So I'll know in the morning she had her breakfast, in the evening she went to buy a dress, she bought some paper, she bought some pencils, she had some crayons. So whatever money is spent, I will have the account of every pie. Very, very important. Very, very important. Advantages of blockchain. Number one, improved accuracy by removing human involvement in verification. I am reminded of Justice Bhagwati, who spoke about public distribution system. He said, you give people to the poor people, it doesn't reach. It would be better if you from the helicopter start throwing notes. There are more chances of notes thrown from the helicopter which will reach to them rather through the designed public distribution system. So human verification is stopped. Then eliminating third-party verification. When you take a credit card, a person comes to your house to know, aap yahan rehte hain, this is your address, what is your income, what is your salary. That person can always be manipulated. You can always bribe him, take him to other corner. So that is reduced. Decentralization, everything is decentralized, so very difficult to tamper. Transactions are secure and efficient, and the technology is very, very transparent. I want to tell you, if you want to go into blockchains, in life, you have to understand one thing, that difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. There is a very nice couplet which I would like to share with you. The couplet says, Manzile pav pakadti hai ठहरने के लिए. मंजिलें पांव पकड़ती हैं ठहरने के लिए, मगर शौक कहता है दो चार कदम और सही, दो चार कदम और सही. When you venture into technologies, the best part is, as chartered accountants, you are able to add so much value to it that you create a separate empire for yourself. My dear friends, I suggest, even if you are doing CA or if you are chartered accountants, please enter this technology in a phased fashion. Disadvantage of blockchain: cost is always a problem when technology comes in, because when you put it and by the time you start understanding the technology, it becomes outdated. So being abreast with the latest changes and yet invest so much money is only possible for long people. It is used for illicit activities and it is susceptible to being hacked. Now I come to the third area. I like to speak something on professional opportunities in blockchains. Functional design, its evaluation is very important. How you evaluate? See, when you speak about chartered accountants, they do internal audit. So now when you do internal audit, you take care of the internal controls. So how you evaluate them is very important. So when you want to evaluate a system, when you want to evaluate a control environment, when you want to evaluate a function's efficiency, it is always blockchain that helps you. It evaluates all important things like proof of concept is to be evaluated. Now, when it comes to risk implementation, risk mitigation, it does the assessment of risk implementation. There is a saying that any chain cannot be strongest than its weakest point. I have a huge chain, but one point is weak. Moment the pressures come, it will break. So in risk, when you implement the risk, assessment of risk is very, very important. How you assess the risk and put it on the right perspective. Second. Third, impact on audit. Yes, audit, normally you do audit by sampling, but technology ensures that everything is done 100% and all issues are determined. So this is a great issue. You can always, there are always issues. For example, if I do something on sampling and the sample which I have left, if there are some material errors, material misstatements, even a fraud, which I could have unearthed, it is not possible. But when you use technology, you go through the entire concept 100%. Audit of smart controls and oracles, which is very difficult otherwise, is done through blockchains. The third is cloud computing. You know what cloud computing is. You use a cloud, you don't have a physical server, you have servers at different locations and that can store huge data. Very, very important. Now, characteristics of cloud computing. Resource pooling, very important. So many resources can have one cloud. We all use Google Cloud. On-demand self-supply service. You get 10 GB data free when you have a Gmail. I feel it is 2 GB or 10 GB, I don't remember exactly. So it is on-demand self-service. You can put your photographs, you can put your information, your accounts. Rapid elasticity. Yes. Immediately ready to respond and to change if there is some more demand. Services are measured. Everything is measured. How much data is where? What is there? If there is a duplicacy, that is there. And broad network access. If I'm sitting here and I have my things on cloud, if tomorrow I go to Anaheim, US, I can sit there and download what I want to. What are the benefits? Number one, cost efficiency. Very, very important. You don't have to keep huge servers. It is very efficient to keep it on cloud. It also reduces spending on technology infrastructure. Your entire infrastructure is on a big server, which has all the features. Unlimited storage. You're aware in office, the storage may be heavy. Backup and recovery, whatever you want, you can do that. Your backup you can take. Anytime you can download what you want. Automatic software integration, very, very important. Any software you want can be integrated with the cloud. Easy access to information and globalize the workforce. You can globalize the workforce. People see work from home is something that has become very common today. Earlier, it was so uncommon. This pandemic has brought 3 or 4 very important things. I'll tell you which the things are. Number one, it created the concept of work from home. And I want to tell you one thing very candidly. Work from home is something which will never go back because there is a cost of a person traveling to a destination. There is a cost of the desk where a person comes and works. So that shall all go away. No issues. So work from home is going to remain. I am speaking to you. Otherwise, I had to come to general school. I had to travel down to general school. So long, the whole day would have spent. Now when Himang said he wants me for 40, 45 minutes, I could spare that time, although you know that I am receiving so many calls because of the CA day. But I could spend time. I know that this is the amount of time which would be required. So this is a great, great benefit. Great benefit. Capital costs. Capital costs are reduced because you have to pay a recurring cost. The capital cost is incurred by the person who is a service provider. Quick deployment. Immediate work is done. Less personal training and minimize maintenance and licensing software. You don't need much licensing software because all your data is secure at a different destination. Improved flexibility and effective monitoring of projects is again big benefit. But the disadvantage, the first is internet connectivity. If the connectivity is not clear, how do you do things? Please understand, in life, if you have to have something, it is your determination, your thought process. and your resolve to work even in adverse circumstances, that creates value. You know, सोचने से कहाँ मिलते हैं तमन्नाओं के शहर, सोचने से कहाँ मिलते हैं तमन्नाओं के शहर, चलने की जिद भी जरूरी है मंजिल पाने के लिए. You have to create infrastructures to move to success. So the disadvantages, technical issues, internet connectivity, security. If the cloud is not secure, your security is gone. Prone to attack, hacking call always available. There are so many issues with cloud computing. Data analytics. Please understand the area where chartered accountants are doing immensely well. They are contributing a lot. Data analytics is defined as the science of examining raw and unprocessed data. Raw and unprocessed data. And with that data, you draw conclusions from the information thus derived. I get the data of your students in college, their attendance data. I can very well make how many students are regular, how many students come late. Ultimately, when I make analysis, there are certain students who will always come late, and there are certain students who will by nature be very punctual. So I'm able to identify people who are more sincere, who are more punctual. People who are frequent leave takers. So that will, in a span of minutes, it will give me information what I want. I need not put myself into the data. This is data analytics. Now, impact on audit, I want to tell you, because there are number of CAs, students who are doing CA. Number one, completeness. You cannot give an assurance based on something which you are not clear. You may do something, you may do some sampling, determine the size of the sample, let the management know or the stakeholders know from where the sample has been created. But if you want to give a complete assurance, it is only when you go through the complete data. Accuracy. Data analyst makes things happen accurately. Whatever parameters are drawn, the answers come on those parameters only. Validity is very important. You can validate the data because that has gone through you. You can authorize the data. You can segregate the duties. You can take care of compliance and cutoff. What compliance have to be made? For example, if the management wants to know that if any payments have been made in excess of 1 lakh rupees, with a click of button, I can know, yes, these payments have been made excess. Whether any fines have been incurred, whether the return filing dates have been late. So everything, whatever parameters I put, I will have an answer to that. The risk and challenges. First, data privacy and confidentiality. I told you cyber security, data privacy, they are very important issues in technology. Completeness and integrity of the extracted client data. I told you what you give, you get that back. So if you don't give proper data, you don't get back proper data. I hope you understand. So what you put in, you get back that. Audit staff may not be competent when it comes to question of competence. They may not write the right audit inputs, which is required. If I sit in a restaurant, I want to have chow mein or chopsy, and I order him burger. How can I expect chow mein or chopsy? So what you order, there's a machine. That's a system. What you order to that, you'll get that. So competence of the person ordering, competence of the person conducting the audit is important. Insufficient or inappropriate evidence detailed on file view, very important. You need to first of all understand the entire data parametric system is there. If it is not there, you're not able to work on that. Large volumes will be required, because if you want to do huge data analytics, you need large softwares, and there can always be an expectation gap amongst stakeholders. And the last is Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is a system of interrelated computing devices. Please understand. So many devices, they are interrelated mechanically and digitally, and they are provided with unique identifiers, and they can transfer the data over a network without requiring human or human to computer interaction. You see, there are softwares coming on your Apple. There is, now on your iPad, there comes that this is the software which you need to update. So these are examples, very lot of examples, which helps us to move in that direction, which is expected of us. Now, impact on audit. automatically receive all associated data through a digital system. If I want to do an audit for an entity which has so many offices across the country, I can be aligned to the systems and get whatever information data I want. Inventory and assets, very, very important. When you go for inventory or asset verification, it is very helpful because you can be connected throughout. Reduce time lapse. Yes, time lapse is reduced. Something coming through mail, you scan and send so heavy files, or it is real time. Drone can help gathering evidences, very, very important. Presence of personnel is detected. You can always see the people who are trying to fiddle in with the data, and sample test is not required. So I'll now go on to the last topic of the day, which is robotics. Robotics process automation, very, very important. I happen to be the chairman of International Standard Board, and 2 years back I was in Anaheim, Los Angeles, for an inter-audit conference. There I saw so many examples of robotics. Robotics can do anything. The person who showed me the entire thing was from Mumbai, and when I went to his house after the first wave, I was served tea by a robot. A small piece of biscuit fell down. So when he picked up the utensils, he picked that biscuit also. If I want to post entries into my accounting system, if I have an accountant, he may fall ill, he may have to go to his in-laws' house, he may have to be observing holidays, some religious holidays. But if it is a robot, it will work around the clock and ensure that things are put in the right perspective. Impact on audit. Need to understand technology. Once you understand technology and transmit that to the robot, things move in the right direction. Opportunity to influence control design. Control design is the most important aspect of any robotics. What you are designing, it will provide that control only. What are the areas where you want it to focus? It will give only those areas and nothing else. It has the potential to increase audit efficiency. Yes, robotics will do 100% work with zero error-free environment. Free up capacity to focus on higher priorities. The other capacity which we are doing routine work can go on higher priorities. Enhance ability to add valuable insight. Value add is very, very important. Need to develop new testing approaches. Once you have the entire data in hand, like Ristar of companies earlier, they were only speaking about people who could not file the returns. Now they meticulously go through the returns and bring out issues which needs to be answered by the management. So corporate governance is also at the highest level. Consider for changes to internal audit staffing model. Yes, whatever models, what the staff has to do and which area they have to excel can very well be defined. So I'll just stop my presentation here. It is close to 10:13 now, and I would want to go for question answers.
Thanks a lot, sir, for such an insightful address. I'm sure all the young students will now understand the relevance of technology and will take steps to make themselves more tech savvy. And definitely, I agree with you that technology has a lot of impact in the field of audit. We can't do audit without a technology because obviously we can't check 100% of the samples, but technology helps us in that. So now moving on to the questions. So we have already got a few questions. So the first one is, what technological changes can we expect in the profession in the upcoming years, and what students can do to prepare themselves now?
Himangi, I'd like to answer this by way of a couplet because it is ever changing. So it says, अपने हौसलों को ये खबर करते रहो, अपने हौसलों को ये खबर करते रहो, जिंदगी मंजिल नहीं, सफर है चलते रहो. Technology will always call for differential involvement at different times. It is ever changing. Improvement is done every time. So what is need that you understand technology, then move with it. We lived with mobile phones when first normal phones came, then smartphones came, then YouTube came, then WhatsApp came, Facebook came, Insta came, everything. Now, even they will keep on improving. You look at WhatsApp, it is improved every time. Now, the messages will go after 7 days, automatically they will vanish. So these are value adds. So in technology, you have to understand the basic concept and then move in line with the technological changes. This is what is required. And this is for the entire profession. We need to understand and we need to keep abreast of all those changes. I would stop here and tell you one thing. All of you want godfathers and mentors. You want a senior person to be your mentor. 3 days back, I was in call with a US professional. He gave me a very good thing. He said, in 2 days' time, if you don't have a mentor, he was telling to me, to senior people like me, he told, in 2 days' time, if you don't have a mentor who is below 30 years, you can do nothing great in life. Now, if I want Komal to be my mentor, what do I get from Komal? Komal will tell me about ever-changing technology. My entire mobile, my laptop is handled by my daughter, Harjot Kaur. And she's in CA Foundation. So you need to have a mentor in a senior person and a mentor in a young man who keeps you abreast of the latest changes. That is important.
Thank you, sir. One of the participants has asked that what are the soft skills and attributes that a CA aspirant should equip himself with for a successful professional career?
You need to have writing skills. You need to have speaking skills. You need to have analytical skills. Soft skills are immense. How you control people, how you speak to them, how you impress people, how you do people management. These things are very, very important. But the most important thing is to have a strong mind. Somebody once asked Swami Vivekananda, he said, Swamiji, you have gone through Veda and Upanishads n numbers of times. Can you tell me in a line the gist of Veda and Upanishads? Swami just smiled and said, my boy, in a line, I shall not only tell you the gist of Veda and Upanishads, I will tell you the entire concept on which India thrives. The words uttered by Swamiji are written in golden words in Indian history. What did he say? Strength is life and weakness is death. This doesn't mean that from tomorrow onwards you go to gym. Here the strength has to be. Strength is your mental strength, how you conquer crisis, how you live in crisis. The biggest problem which CAs have, young CA students or chartered accountants have, that they start getting disturbed by certain facts. Exams are being held on 5th, but people have so many apprehensions and questions on that. Focus gets distracted. मुझ में और मेरी किस्मत में हर बार यही जंग. मुझ में और मेरी किस्मत में हर बार यही जंग. मैं उसके फैसलों से तंग, वो मेरे हौसलों से दंग. Dang means to be surprised. You have to be strong. Your courage has to be at the immense level. These soft skills will let you move to top pinnacle anytime, whenever.
That was really inspiring, sir. So the next question is, several students face a dilemma of studying, working abroad after BCom and completing CA. So what kind of opportunities exist for Indian CAs in other, that is outside of the Commonwealth and in Commonwealth countries?
Indian CA is the most sought out person all across the globe. I travel internationally. I've been to Vancouver. The entire range is Indian CAs. We have chapters all across the world. Any place you say we have chapter. We have chapter in Frankfurt. We have chapter in San Francisco. We have chapter anywhere which you speak. And there the leaders, Indian chartered accountants, are people who have been setting benchmarks by their hard working. I want to tell you, never ever in your life feel that you are on a wrong path. Never ever let your courage go down. पर ही कतर सकता है कोई किसी परिंदे के. पर means feather. पर ही कतर सकता है कोई किसी परिंदे के. इरादे भी कतर दे, इतनी धार कहां से लाए. Your resolve to perform. Indian chartered accountants and their 3-year, we are second largest accounting body. Let me tell you that if all chartered accountants who have qualified from the institute take membership, then we will be the first largest body. It is the concept of faith. What faith we percolate to our great profession. एक साहब ने एक बच्चे से पूछा कि सीए बनने में कितने पैसे लगते हैं. बच्चे ने कहा साहब पैसे तो थोड़े से लगते हैं, जवानी सारी लग जाती है. इतनी मेहनत करने के बाद भी अगर आप डिप्रेशन में कभी आए तो मान लीजिएगा आपकी मेहनत में कहीं ना कहीं कमी रहेगी. Please understand, you have to work in. You want to go anywhere internationally, and let me tell you, except attest, Indian chartered accountant can do non-attest anywhere in the globe. I am a CA in India. I can open a branch anywhere in the world. Nobody stops me. And Indian chartered accountants are welcome everywhere because they have that strict discipline and the resolve to perform. They have the passion of performing that keeps them at the top key.
Thank you, sir. So one more question. How has the COVID-19 impacted the profession? So it echoes with the topic, your topic as well. Those the benefit of the COVID-19, I would say, is the topic. But other than that, what is the impact on the profession?
मैंने आपको बताया ना, हम ज्यादा सोचते हैं। कोई तो रूबरू कराए बेखौफ बीते हुए बचपन से, कोई तो रूबरू कराए बेखौफ बीते हुए बचपन से, आज मेरा फिर से बेवजह मुस्कुराने का दिल है। Don't be too much oriented towards your goals. You have to relax. And if you don't relax, you get certain such hiccups which stop your progress. Coming on to COVID. Number one, COVID has given the best to technology. You see, the stock markets are a mirror of the entire economy. Worldwide, including India, we are at the top notch. We are at the best. Why? Because technology has led the way now. Everything is done on technology. Technology firms led the 52-week high, and then the entire market followed suit. Second thing, it is outsourcing. If you want to go into practice and want to do some work, India is the back office of the entire world. So we can do outsourcing with respect to foreign taxing. We can do outsourcing with respect to accounting services, with process writing, with systematic engagements. We can do a lot of things. But my last word of caution to you, don't get afraid by these types of things. They will keep on coming. Today there is COVID, tomorrow there will be some other thing. They say, na, कि ना डरा मुझे वक्त, ना डरा मुझे वक्त, नाकाम होगी तेरी हर कोशिशें, ना डरा मुझे वक्त, नाकाम होगी तेरी हर कोशिशें, जिंदगी के मैदान में खड़ा हूँ दुआओं का काफिला लेकर. When you move with that right spirit to perform, the entire word and the God Almighty helps you to gain your perspective. This COVID will create so many opportunities which you can always bank on.
Definitely, sir. Totally agree with you. Just one last question. So, sir, what is the one message this question is from my side because I teach students. And so, what is the one message that you would like to give to all the students, irrespective of their academic background, interest, or who are still deciding what to do after their BCom?
Success is never dependent on your caste, creed, sex. It is never dependent on your family background, your educational background. It is dependent only on the courage which you undertake to perform. Three important issues to young students. Number one, very importantly, improve your communication skills. If you want to impress somebody, you can only impress by your words. Improve your writing skills. Improve your drafting skills. Improve your email writing skills. Second thing, improve and hone your technical skills. Be technically compliant with anybody in this world. You should know all the legal aspects before you go on to an interview. And the third and final is, let technology rule you. If you understand technology, you understand everything. So again, to sum up, communication first, honing of technical skills second, and knowledge and implementation of technology three. If you have these three things in common, nobody in the world, you will be second to nobody in this world.
Thank you so much, sir, for your detailed answers. I'm sure this is going to be extremely helpful for our students. I would like to extend a big thanks to you for sparing your valuable time and definitely motivating our students. It will be our pleasure to have you at our campus once things get normal.
Certainly, it will be a pleasure. It will be entirely mine. I'm certainly.
Mr. Nanda will now be leaving us because of his further commitments. Thank you again, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mangji. Thank you, Komal. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you all for giving me patient hearing. Thank you so much.
Okay. So now I would like to invite CA Komal Jan. She will be talking about her journey, experiences, and preparation strategies, which helped her to get All India Rank 1 in India's one of the toughest exams. I'm sure our students will be interested to know what different the rank holders eat, maybe, and understand how differently they prepare and strategize. Not only CA final, Ms. Komal has also secured All India Rank 4 in IPCC and was awarded the SR Bartley Boy Silver Medal for her achievement. Over to you, Komal.
Thank you, Hemang. Firstly, a very good morning to one and all, extending my warm regards to Ashish sir, Hemang, and all the viewers here. Firstly, I would want to really congratulate all the chartered accountants on this auspicious CA Foundation Day. And I think this CA Day is really special for me for the fact that this is the first CA Day after I qualified my chartered accountancy, and really delighted to be given this opportunity. So thanking the Jindal School of Banking and Finance for this. Starting with a very brief introduction of myself. Himank has already given it, but still. So I am born and brought up in Mumbai. I completed my CA final in the November 2020 attempt with an All India rank 1. I've also completed my graduation from R.A. Podar College in BCom, basically Mumbai University. And currently I'm working with Hindustan Unilever, one of the top FMCG companies in the finance vertical. So basically, when I was on the other side of the table, evaluating my career opportunities, even I had a lot of queries and apprehensions in my mind. Also, we all the time hear a lot of things about the CA course in general, saying that, you know, you need to be a genius if you really want to crack CA. You have to study for 16 to 18 hours a day if you want to clear this course. You know, you have to give multiple attempts, and clearing in the first attempt is truly impossible and whatnot. And even I used to hear all this, and this was really very intimidating for me as well. But I think by way of this opportunity and session, I would really want to demystify some of these very common myths about the CA course, and try to answer as many questions as possible which you all might have in your minds. So I think firstly, it really makes sense to talk about that why did I choose CA personally as my career. So I think there's a lot of factors that you have to consider before you truly make a career decision, because it is going to be really crucial. So I think when I completed my 10th standard, I was very clear that science was not my cup of tea. So I mean, choosing commerce was a simple decision for me. But when I really had to choose a particular field, of course, I did a lot of research. And when I really researched about CA course, I got to understand that CA course is something that would give you knowledge in a wide variety of areas, you know, ranging from accounting, taxation, law, finance, and whatnot. So basically, you have such knowledge in such broad areas across this entire course that you can choose any particular area you like and kind of specialize in. Also, I mean, being very honest here, when I myself, I belong to a middle class family, and while choosing any career, one of the important considerations which I had to give was to choose a course which was not like very very expensive and did not entail a lot of investment. And I also had this thing that I really wanted to complete my education fast and start earning well. I think this is something which is very normal across all people who belong to such backgrounds. So I think this is also some important consideration which I gave before choosing this as my career. Because when you look at CA, and when you see that if you clear in the first attempt, you can become a chartered accountant at the age of 21 or 22. And this is something which is very, very quick to kind of complete your education and start your professional career. Also, as we heard that CA is something which is a very, very cost effective course, and you do not really need a lot of investment to pursue this. Also, when I also see the opportunities that exist, I think there are so many flexible options. I mean, you can go and take up a corporate job, set up your own practice, even start your own business. Since you have knowledge across so many fields, you are even capable of doing that. Or maybe get into teaching, or there are multiple options which are available, and it is truly flexible on depending on whatever you like. So I think this wide range of options, the broad range of knowledge you get, the getting done with it quickly feature of it, and along with this, the prestige that the CA prefix commands really kind of encouraged me to pursue this as my career. Absolutely acknowledging the fact that how difficult it is. I mean, it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to say that the journey is going to be easy. It is definitely going to be tough, but you really need to make an informed decision that you are ready to give it all to crack this, and give whatever it takes. So basically acknowledging that, I went ahead to pursue this as my career. Coming to my CA journey as a whole. So firstly, I would just kind of give a very brief overview of what, a journey of any CA aspirant looks like across the span of 5 to 6 years. So starting with the first level is CA Foundation. So one can start CA Foundation a few months after completing the 12th boards, or maybe even there's an option to enter into CA after graduation. And in that case, you do not have to appear for CA Foundation. So that is like the first level. once clearing CA foundation, the next step is CA intermediate, which is exactly 1 year after you clear your CA foundation. So CA foundation basically has 4 papers, and when it comes to CA intermediate, there are 8 papers. 8 papers, a proper mix of theory and practical. After CA intermediate, we have to undertake articleship of 3 years. Articleship entails working with a CA firm and training yourself to work in the corporate world. So articleship period is for 3 years, and after completing 2.5 years of articleship, you can go ahead and give your CA final, which is the last exam of the CA course. And once the CA final is completed, your course is completely done. So this is basically a very broad overview of how a CA course would look like. Generally takes 5 to 6 years to complete in case you can do it in the first attempt. So talking about my journey in particular, right from CA foundation to CA final. So I had decided that I wanted to pursue my CA, before 12th standards. So I started with my coaching. Along with 12th, my CA foundation coaching was also going on. Basically followed nothing different, just the basic discipline that we follow for any particular exams, getting your concepts right, giving as many mocks as possible, trying to cover your entire syllabus and so on. And I always had this thing in my mind that CA is a very difficult course and you really need to kind of put in your hard work. So keeping that in mind, I really worked very hard for CA foundation. And when I appeared for the exam, when the results came out, I had scored an 186 and 200, which was a pretty good score, and I was really overjoyed. Currently, the CA foundation has changed a bit, and now it is a 400 mark exam. Once the CA foundation was cleared, I think the next level, which is CA intermediate, was kind of awaiting. And CA intermediate, I feel, is challenging mainly because of 2 reasons. Firstly, the time is very less because once the CA foundation results are out, you have only 9 months to appear for your CA intermediate exams. And in 9 months, you have to cover 8 papers, which comprises of approx 10 plus subjects. So covering this, huge syllabus in such a limited time is, I think, the biggest challenge when it comes to CA intermediate. And seriously talking, your classes could range somewhere around 8 to 9 hours per day. And along with this, you also have your college to manage and to manage your self-study as well. So at the outset, it would really seem very inhuman that how could someone, manage everything this together, your classes, your college, your self-study, etc. But I think, it's all about a game of priorities. So it's not that when I appeared for my CA intermediate, I kind of left everything and just focus on that. I even participated in my college events and tried to do as much as possible in college as well. But you really need to understand that, what should be your priority. So initially you could maybe engage in college events, but when the exams are near, you should completely shift your priority and start focusing on studying for the intermediate exams. So I think juggling between all this, I did appear for CA intermediate, and my only goal was that I want to give my best shot. And when I come back after my exams, I should not have any regret in mind that I could have done better than this. So with the very intention, I really worked hard, took almost the last 3 months for self-study, really stretched hours to complete the entire syllabus, and appeared for my exams with the intention that I really wanted to give my best shot. And to my surprise, when the results came out, I had secured an all India rank 4. Just to give a context, so ICI declares this merit list of first 50 scorers. So if you have scored in top 50 across India, you will get this all India rank. And all India rank is something which was never on my mind, because I never thought that, on a national level, I could have secured something like this. But I think it was sheer determination, the will to just give it all, and some of the preparation strategies that I would talk in the later part that really helped me achieve this feat. And after clearing CA intermediate with a rank, I think the biggest advantage was the fact that a lot of doors opened up for me when I wanted to pursue my articleship. So the next step is definitely articleship. And when you score really well in your CA intermediate, you get the opportunity to work with some of the biggest CA firms, the global multinationals, as you call it, or the big fours. So these are the top firms which are the proper corporate setup that you usually see in movies or a series, where you get to really work at a very young age. And I think the articleship period is one of the best experiences in the entire CA journey. So when you go for articleship, you are really trained to work in a professional setup at a very young age. And if I were to really talk about my articleship experience, at the age of 19, I was handling a client independently, attending business meetings, interacting with the business leaders, and really enjoyed my period thoroughly. So I think there's a lot to learn at a very young age, and something like an articleship is something that no other course would offer you. So I think this is the best part of the CA course, and you should really make the most out of it. It's also a lot about meeting a lot of people, interacting with them, learning with them, kind of participating in a lot of events and so on. So that is the phase about articleship. I did my articleship with one of the big fours, 2 years in the taxation domain. After that, I moved on to do my industrial training. So just to give a brief background of what is the difference between consulting firm and an industry. So in consulting or maybe a CA firm, you kind of service clients. So you work for a lot of clients that you have. But when you move to an industry, you kind of only work for a particular organization that you're working in. So I really wanted to experience this part or this aspect of the professional life as well. And CA course gives you an opportunity to pursue industrial training in the last year of your articleship. So I even wanted to experience that, and I moved on to do it with Cadbury India in the finance vertical to experience this side of it. So after completing this, I appeared for my CA final. And I think CA final is also challenging in the fact that you have to manage your classes, articleship, and studies together, which again, the game of balance, prioritizing, and a lot of things kicks in. So once you do it all well, you can appear for your CA final exams. And when the results came out, I think it was something that I did not even think of in my wildest dreams. So I think this was about my CA journey. And if I really want to pick up 2 to 3 major takeaways from my journey, I would say that first, I think it really entails a lot of sacrifices. Whenever you're preparing for your CA exams, you will see that a lot of friends around are really enjoying their lives. They are attending all the social events, and they're truly enjoying in all senses. And when you're preparing for your exams, you really have to make a lot of sacrifices. You have to say no to a lot of events. You just cannot go on trips as and when you like, and you're always stuck with your books. So I think that feeling is something that you are going to experience across your journey. And if you can overcome that, I'm sure it will be really worth it in the end. So I would just want to say that do not just get bogged down by all this across your journey, and just have that kind of determination and perseverance that you really want to complete it. So I think that was one. Secondly, I believe that a CA course does not only teaches you a lot on the academic front. I think it also teaches you a lot of life lessons that you can carry across your life. The one being managing a lot of important tasks together, prioritizing, and as I mentioned, a lot of skills in the professional setting that you could use. So I think these are all something that you should really cherish. So I mean, these were my key takeaways when I talk about my journey. Coming to the preparation tips that I would want to suggest. So I think these preparation tips are very general and could be used across all levels of CA or any other professional exams. So I think the first and the very important tip that I would want to give would be planning, because I think when you kind of try and manage such a vast course, it's like an ocean, and if you just don't have a direction, you are sure to get lost in between. So I think it's always very important to have a very detailed and meticulous plan in hand when you plan your studies. You have to really acknowledge the syllabus, the time that you have in hand, and how are you going to approach it. So I think planning has been like my biggest tip that I would want to share with all, that do plan it well and just don't be directionless anytime. A second would be definitely the conceptual clarity, because I always believe that the better understanding you have, the better, the easier it becomes to prepare for the exams. And understanding is what you can ensure by either attending your classes regularly, or if you're doing self-study, you could just maybe do it with a lot of focus and leave no gaps in understanding. The third would definitely be giving mock papers, because I think unless you stimulate the actual exams beforehand, you won't get an idea of how it is going to be. And it's extremely risky to just go there and give your first shot. So it's always better to give mocks, realize what are the kind of mistakes you are making, and try to resolve them before you go for your final exams. Also, another important thing is the fact that you should always have a mentor who has actually gone through the same journey, so that whenever you need any help, you can approach them, and they definitely make things a lot easier. So always have this mentor who you can, go back to whenever you have any questions or, any difficulties when it comes to studies. So I think broadly, these are the tips which I very religiously followed so that, I could really crack the exams at all the 3 levels. So this was about the preparation trips, talking a brief about the opportunities that are available once you qualify CA. So as I mentioned that, it's a very flexible course. You get, you can do business, you can go into practice, you can take up a corporate job. Also, as Nanda sir mentioned in his speech, that there are a lot of emerging technologies in which CA have a role to play. So if you're like really someone who is very fond of technology, even that is some area which you could really explore. And I think you can maybe take up a specialization in any subject you like, since you have knowledge across so many areas. If you like accounting, you like finance, you like auditing, taxation, whatever you like, you can just build a career in that. So when I talk about opportunities, they are immense across multiple fields, across multiple aspects. So that is something that you could definitely do. And when I really compare it with courses like BCom or some graduation course that you do, I think these courses really give you a very good idea of subjects like accounting, taxation, and there is a certain kind of overlap when it comes to CA and these courses. But CA being a professional course, and when you pursue it, you kind of become an expert in that particular field. And whenever someone has a choice between choosing someone who has good knowledge and an expert, I think expert always gets the preference. So that is one major reason why, pursuing this professional courses really gives you that edge over any other course. And lastly, I would just summarize by saying that, CA is about 3 things. Firstly, it is all about your sincerity. So I always feel that CA is more about hard work than intelligence or, anything else. So it's all about hard work. If you are ready to give in the hard work that it requires, I think it's not a tough task and you will definitely clear it, as soon as possible. Secondly, it is about resilience, the never give up attitude. Because, let us talk, there may be some times where you have to give multiple attempts, and it is all your resilience, the never give up attitude that would, help you get out of that. And a lot of times that course really gets taxing. You have a lot of things to balance. There may be a lot of thoughts saying that, why did I choose it? Should I just let it go? But it's all about the resilience that you have that will help you sail across the course. And the last one is consistency. You will always have to maintain consistency when it comes to studies, because it is not a course that you could, just wake up one day and say that I want to give this exam and start preparing. You will really have to be consistent from the very start if you want to, complete something like this. So with this, I hope I'm able to answer a lot of your questions, and happy to answer if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Komal. Such an inspiring and interesting story. I can say that such an interesting journey from All India Rank 1 is amazing. So you made people believe that actually CA is not that tough. Yes, it is not that tough. I totally agree with you that sincerity is very important. Not the hard work. Definitely hard work is there, but the sincere approach towards things is very important. Okay, so with this, we can move to the questions now. So yes, this first one is very interesting question. My favorite. CA is a long journey. How did you keep yourself motivated throughout?
Yeah, definitely. I think completely agree that it is going to be a long journey. But I think the only important thing is I never lost sight of the end goal. I always had in mind that I would want to complete this no matter what. And the drive that comes from within is something that would help you with the entire journey. I mean, no external motivation or anything would help you. It is the drive that you have from within, the kind of determination that I really want to complete this is what, really entails you to sail across this whole journey. So just don't lose sight of the end goal, no matter how challenging the times get.
Definitely. Totally agree. So then next question is briefly share your routine schedule for CA Foundation and IPCC. So what your routine was during because articleship was not started till then. So what was the routine? So
Yeah.
were you doing college parallelly with it?
Right. So I think during CA Foundation, it was more of attending classes and self-study for maybe 1 or 2 hours per day, because that time you have your 12 boards as well. So attending college, then attending classes, and if there's any time left, you could do self-study. And once the classes ends, it was college and then self-study. So it was always a combination of this. And when it comes to IPCC, again the same. So IPCC, the classes hours are really long. So once you attend college in the morning, then you directly go to classes, and then your classes are done somewhere in the evening. And then if you come back home and if there's any time left, you could devote it for self-study. So I mean, this was the schedule across.
Yes, I can agree. I too was on the same journey and same schedule for every CA aspirant. Okay, so the next question is, how did you use to manage that 1.5-day gap between two exams during your IPCC to revise such a vast curriculum? So that 1.5-day gap, is very important.
Absolutely. So I think to prepare for those 1.5 days, the preparation has to really start from the beginning. So whenever you start studying for a particular subject for the first time, you have to always ensure that this is the time when you're doing a very detailed read. But after this, you have to be really quick with this particular subject when you do your revisions or even prepare for those 1.5 days. So from the very first read, make sure that you are very much focused on making the subject very concise. You kind of really highlight all those important words, the key points, or maybe make some summary notes if that really works for you. Do something that would really make the, a very large content very concise, so that you could only focus on that parts and be done with that particular concept. So I think this is very important. And as and when you do multiple revisions, try and making it more concise. Also, for that 1.5 days, I would ensure that it is very important that you glance through the entire syllabus once and not go in a lot of detail. So what you have to do is you have to ensure that you can glance through all the chapters and all the concepts once before you go for your exams, and not just sit and start solving sums, etc. in those 1.5 days. Focus on provisions, focus on concepts, and ensure you get the maximum coverage there. So if you have really made your syllabus that concise from the very start, that would really help in those 1.5 days.
Definitely, and obviously not to lose on sleep, because many students, yes, tend to lose on sleep during that 1.5 day, but that is very important. So one of my teacher used to say that if you lose on sleep, you'll forget everything that you have done in the last 6 months or so.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you have already talked about the articleship. So can you throw some more light on what is the importance of articleship in your personality and its relevance for the CA final exam preparation?
Right. So whenever you choose articleship, either you will do it in maybe a lot of fields together, or maybe you will do a specialization in one field. So from the CA final point of view, of course, the field in which you do your articleship, the subject really becomes very easy for you, because all those theoretical concepts have actually tried and implemented in the practical world. So that way, retaining those subjects and understanding those concepts become really easier. So that is the benefit from the CA final point of view. And from a point of view of your personality and etc., I think articleship exposes you to a lot of challenges. Like, you really have to communicate with your clients, you have to really be a team player and work on a particular project with your team. So you have to really build that communication skills, the kind of behavior that is very relevant in professional setups. And I think articleship really gives you those opportunities at a very young age. So I think personality wise, I mean, you will be completely transformed. You just go there as a very naive and an innocent student, but when you actually complete your articleship, you are turned into a professional. So I think that is the impact that articleship has when it comes to personality building and CFI.
Definitely, the 3 year of articleship totally changes you. I must agree on this, because actually when we go, we don't know anything about the real world, but when we go into articleship, deadlines, presentations, client meetings, business meetings, a lot of things. And yes, definitely these all things changes us, changes a student, a 19-year-old student, as you were saying that you were attending business meeting with the clients. That's an amazing thing, at such a young age. Okay, so 2 more questions are there. So how you used to manage CA final preparation along with your commitments such as articleship? Because that becomes very difficult along with the articleship, especially when you're doing it from Big Four like KPMG.
Absolutely. So I think, as I mentioned earlier as well, it's all about a game of priorities. So initially, when I started with my articleship, my main focus was learning as much as possible from the articleship. And I only used to ensure that I attend my classes regularly. So no missing out on any classes, but I did not do any kind of self-study when I came back home. I used to focus more on articleship and learning from that. So initially the first year was in this pattern only. So the focus was on articleship. But in the second year, I realized that the exams were nearing and it was the time to reshuffle the priorities a little. So that time it was important that you kind of take a small backseat from your articleship and give more focus to studies. So that time I really tried to communicate to my team as well that my exams are approaching and I really need to focus on this bit as well, and I really need your support for that. So I think it's very okay to tell your team members, and if they really understand, I think that really makes the job easier for you. So even they really supported me in that aspect, and I always dedicated few hours after I came back from office, no matter how tired I was, because I know that I really had to do it if I want to clear it with flying colors. So no matter how tired I used to come back, I used to sit with my books and build that momentum for the study leave. And then in the study leave, it's all about studies.
Yes, definitely. In the last 6 months, it's all about study.
Yeah.
You devote multiple hours, and the important thing is that you don't have, you have to focus on just one thing. There are no multiple things which are
Right.
going on. That is very important. So that's why we should utilize the maximum of the last 6 months.
Yes.
Okay, so the last question. So one of the students want to know that what are your future career plans? All India Rank 1 CA Finals future career plans.
Right. So, I was very clear when I cleared my CA final that finance was something that I really wanted to explore, because even during my articleship, I had worked into finance and that really worked for me. So, as of now, I really wanted to take up a corporate job in finance, which I have already taken up. So, few years would definitely be continuing with this, learning as much as possible here. But definitely, I would think about if there are any alternate qualifications that I want to pursue. Definitely MBA is something that is on my mind. So after working for maybe 2 to 3 years, that is something I would want to give a shot to. So as of now, working in finance and maybe pursuing an MBA a few years later.
That sounds like a great plan. MBA in finance, maybe you will be preferring. Yes,
Yes.
that's an amazing plan. And I hope that you do it from IIMs, because you are the All India Rank 1 and CAT is no such big thing for you.
Yeah, let's hope.
All the very best for that, Komal. On this
Thanks.
note, thank you so much for your answers. Hope everyone is clear in their minds that they too can aim for aim for anything and they can achieve, provided they work passionately for it. So,
Absolutely.
but we don't get that answer. What different the All India Rank 1 eat?
No, definitely. I do not have an answer to this as well.
Yes, one question you can skip definitely. Okay, so now I would like to invite our Vice Dean Professor Dr. Anand Mishra for his concluding remarks.
Thank you, Komal, for such an interesting conversation with us and our students. In fact, I have, while listening to you, I was wondering that what is it that drives you so much, such kind of motivation and resilience. You mentioned all these things as if that these things are so simple that you just keep doing things. But I don't know what kind of mindset do you have. I wonder. I at least did not have it. I'm not an accountant, but I'm a chartered financial analyst. I did not have that kind of discipline, but you would have been a model student for every teacher anywhere in the world. So I hope all our students have heard Komal. How I think for whether it's sport or CA or preparation for CAT or GMAT or GRE is the mindset that makes all the difference. In fact, for last few months, I've been experimenting with cycling, and I realized that even with cycling at a certain level, you need to have a correct kind of mindset. So I don't think there are, in fact, if you don't want to become a quantum physicist, most challenges like CA or CFA or ACCA, the most critical thing is your mindset. And what do I mean by mindset? That what Komal mentioned, that consistency, resilience, and hard work and / sincerity. I think Komal prefers hard work more than sincerity, and I agree with that. And I think our resident CA prefers sincerity more than hard work. I'm not comparing, I'm just saying that. As a concluding remark, I would like to say this. As a financial analyst and I was an ex-banker, for me, what CA do is extremely important. If I cannot trust the kind of information that is being put out there by different companies, my investment job is made very difficult. And all of us know across the world, people have suffered because of some malpractices or some sort of overlooking certain kind of facts as far as auditing is concerned. And therefore, technology like blockchain and other supporting technology is going to be extremely important. I keep getting a lot of questions from parents and students, especially young students. What is artificial intelligence going to do for accounting profession? What is blockchain going to do for accounting profession? Mr. Nanda and Jan Komal today, sorry, I called you Jan, Ms. Jan and Komal Jan clarified this, that for last 150 odd years, accounting profession has always been responding to changing technology. I think blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, and machine learning will only make this profession even more trustworthy. There are so many competent people working in there. It will always require competent people. Accounting will always be there because no matter what kind of background technology that is being used, credible, correct, and complete information is always going to be important. And if CAs also begin to understand technology a little bit better, this entire technology plus accounting finance infrastructure or framework will only get better. So I urge all of my students and any young aspirants for a CA or any accounting profession, acquaint yourself with technology. Do not be afraid of it. Accounting profession is very much in demand in anywhere in the world, include especially CAs of India, because the amount of hard work that is required to clear CA, I think that it's really stupendous. And someone like Komal Jan, I can only wonder what goes on in her mind, the kind of discipline she had. So student, there you go. You have a topper of CA and you know what she has been doing. And I hope that you have done you have some sort of slightly dimly lit path in front of you that, if not fully lit, dimly lit, what you need to do. And I think you must have also, I hope you have understood that Komal is not talking about that, missing out on all kinds of fun. She's just saying that, if I understood her correctly, is that you just keep coming back to what is important. And in order to come back to what is important, you must know what is important. And that's something I don't think Komal will be able to put in word. How do you find out what is important for you? That you have to do. And what I suggest to students, that you can't sit in a room and ruminate or wonder about what is important for you. You have to go out in the world and try several things in order to find out whether you like that thing or not. That is extremely important. It's not, mostly it's not possible to sit in a room and meditate and figure out whether you like CA or CFA, finance or accounting or taxation. You have to experiment, you have to try that thing, only then you will be able to find out. And I think the underline of or the underlying lesson that Komal, if I'm interpreting, is correct. That's what she has been doing. So thank you very much, Komal, and I wish you all the best. I have so many friends working in HUL from my MBA days. It's a wonderful company, and the value of communication that you pointed out earlier. I'm sure that within I don't know how long you have been working on. Procter and Gamble and HUL actually teach you very well the power of communication and being very concise and precise. So I don't know how long you have worked in HUL, but every one of my friends found it initially quite challenging. How do I convey everything in one page? Anyway, thank you very much, Komal. That was very, very helpful. And
Thank you so much, sir.
thank you, Hemant, for doing all this thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Anand. Totally agree with you that we have to come back to what is important. And that is the crux, I guess, what you and Komal also told everyone. So on this note, I would like to thank our speakers, CA Charanjot Singh Nanda and CA Komal Jan, and to everyone who joined in and who put in their efforts to make this event a successful event. With this, we have come to the end of this event. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Have a good day.